Hey everyone, Dr. Tam here. I want to share with you what is the difference about osteoporosis versus osteoarthritis. Are you ready? Here we go. So with osteoporosis, what that is, it's your bone density actually decreasing, right? We are all born with a certain amount of bone density. As you get older, as we all get older, our bone density starts to decrease. That is natural. But, well, how do you prevent osteoporosis from excelling? The first thing you need to do is make sure you get enough calcium. It's not from milk. It's not from dairy. People say, oh, dairy gives you stronger bones. Dairy has a lot of growth hormones, can give you bigger bones. But they're not necessarily dense bones, right? It's the difference between chopsticks and Cheetos, right? Cheetos puffs are like nice and big, but they crunch easily. Chopsticks are thin, but they're really hard and firm and dense on the inside. So when you look at foods that you can eat, instead of dairy, make sure you eat at least 5 to 7 cups of vegetables so that your body is able to allow to digest not just the fibers, but also the calcium that's in plants, because plants have cellulose, and the cellulose and the nutrients in there are very high in calcium. One other thing that you really need lots of when you're trying to digest calcium is D3, vitamin D3 and K2. Those are very, very important to make sure that you are absorbing calcium correctly. That's going to prevent osteoporosis. Another thing that's going to prevent osteoporosis is weight-bearing exercises, like lifting weights. They're going to increase, for example, if you lift weights in your shoulders, right, or maybe your biceps, you're going to increase the tension on your shoulders and your biceps. And what's going to happen is that increased pressure, automatically your body will build more calcium. So that's how you would also prevent osteoporosis. Osteoporosis can actually be a full body systemic, or you might have a hip or your lower back or your shoulders or elbow that might be osteoporotic. You might have one area that is more osteoporotic than another. Usually it could be due to lack of movement, sedentary, right? You're just not using that arm as much. It could be an inflammatory disease, or there could be other problems as well. So on top of osteoporosis being the whole body, it could be in different joints. Now, what is osteoarthritis? Quite frankly, ironically, it's the opposite. Osteoporosis is too little calcium. Osteoarthritis means bone. Arth means joint. Itis means the inflammation. It's the inflammation in the joint space between the bone, right? That's what osteoarthritis actually is. Now, how do you get osteoarthritis? Osteoarthritis is an inflammatory problem because that area of the joint is inflamed. So when it is inflamed, what happens is your body tries to protect that area. Maybe there's damage to that area to make it stronger. The inflammation happens and you get things called osteoclasts to actually come in to build the bone in that area to make it stronger. But because it was damaged and inflamed to begin with, you end up with very sharp edges, jagged edges, and now you might end up most of the time have less spaces between the joints itself. That could be happening in multiple areas as well. You can have osteoarthritis between any joint. It could be your hands, your wrists, your shoulders, between your ribs, your spine, your pelvis, knees, ankles, I mean, you name it. Any time where there's two bones, right, connecting one bone, I mean, between this one and that one, there's a bone. Between here and here, there's another joint right there. Between here and here is another joint. So you're looking at just the finger itself is 1, 2, 3 joints. So there could be osteoarthritis in any of those. Now, what are we seeing early on in kids is we're seeing text thumbs, where they're getting osteoarthritis at a very young age here and here as well. A lot of computer use, a lot of phone use, texting, that's where people are getting really bad thumb joints. So you can see osteoarthritis in like runners, sports players, athletes that run a lot. Their knees, their hips are all banged up. It's osteoarthritic, right? In the long run, without proper treatment, osteoarthritis can be detrimental to a joint. So hopefully you learned a lot today, the difference between osteoporosis versus osteoarthritis. All right, we'll see you soon.